These are the best audio settings in Warzone now that the Black Ops 6 integration has just gone live. First of all, you're going to want to make sure that you head up into the audio settings, which can be found just over here. Then sitting at the top, master gain volume will be totally dependent on what kind of setup you have. For me, I've got some really great headphones that are very loud, so actually I have this extremely low, but for a lot of you, around the 50 plus mark will work. Once you've expanded this out, you're going to want to change gameplay music volume all the way down to 0. This will just stop any gameplay music getting in the way of footsteps. For dialogue volume, stick this at around 20, as you still want to hear some audio cues via dialogue, but ultimately it will end up covering up a lot of different audio that you do want to hear, so 20 is the sweet spot. For effects volume, this is purely footstep audio, gunshot audio, all that kind of good stuff that you do want to hear, so crank this all the way to 100. And then for cinematic music volume, I've got this stuck at about 10. Ultimately, you can have this turned completely off, but I find 10 just to be just about right. For speakers / headphones game sound device, you want to make sure this is on whatever device you're using as your headphones. And if you can't hear any audio, this is where you want to come in to change things. Moving down to enhanced headphone mode, you want to be turning this on, as they have made some changes since launch, and now it's actually really useful and very good in game. However, for the enhanced headphone configuration, this really doesn't make much of a difference, so you really don't need to be doing this. Moving down to some of the really important stuff, global under audio mix, you want this under Treyarch mix. This is the best overall, most balanced one for footstep audio. There are other ones that make certain things louder and certain things quieter, but overall this is the best balance as Treyarch has intended and gives footsteps that real little rise above the rest. For mono audio, make sure this is turned off, otherwise you're just going to have the same audio going out of your left and right ear, which will make it impossible to know where footsteps are coming from. Mute gain when minimized, this is kind of irrelevant. I'd have this off as I like to hear the game even when I'm tabbed out. For mute licensed music, I have this off as I'm a content creator and I don't want to get copyright strikes, but for you, probably keep this off as you probably want to hear the cool music, right? For asymmetrical hearing compensation, make sure this is off. And then for functionality under reduced tinnitus sound, turn this off as well, unless you've got tinnitus. I'm not a doctor, so probably keep that on if you have got that. But for the rest of you, turn it off as it makes a lot of things like quite dull and murky, getting in the way of footsteps and gunshot audio. For hit marker preset, default is perfectly fine. Then moving over to voice chat. For voice chat gain volume, again, this is totally dependent on who you're playing with and your headphones. For me, around 50 works perfectly fine, but for a lot of you, you may need to put this up or down. For voice chat, make sure you've got this turned on. Then for proximity chat, body shield chat, and last words chat, if you want to get ultra sweaty, turn these three off, but for the best part, for a lot of you, keep these on as it's going to be quite fun and bring some fun moments to your gameplay. For game voice channel, make sure you've got this on all lobby, unless you only want to hear your friends or party that you're currently partied up with, but for a lot of you, all lobby is going to be perfectly fine. Then for voice chat output device, again, you want this the same as your audio input, but for me, as I like to record on different audio tracks, this just makes content creation a lot easier to have it under a separate thing, so you can ignore what I've done here. Then moving down to microphone, make sure microphone level is at whatever you need it to be for your friends to hear you. If your friends are saying you're quiet, turn this up. If your friends are saying, whoa, you're loud, then probably just turn this down a little bit. And you can even test your own microphone here by doing it like that. For microphone mode, I think open mic tends to be the best unless you've got a foot pedal or something like that, as you don't want to be having to press keys mid-game or mid-gunfight. And then for mute yourself when connecting to a channel, off is perfectly fine. Then for microphone input device, default system device tends to work perfectly fine, but if people can't hear you, then make sure you go down and select your exact microphone that you're using. But that's it for all the audio settings in Warzone now the Black Ops 6 integration has gone live. However, if you want to know the best graphic settings or the best controller settings, I have covered this over in my Black Ops 6 video, and to be honest, nothing has changed, so I'm not going to go out and make a separate video. So make sure you check out one of those two on screen now.